sorted there. I wonder if I need to turn down these just a little bit. There we go. Just a little bit, just a little bit. There we go. I'm not sure why it turns me into a redhead every time we're inside, but this is the life we live in. Enhance effects. Oh. Oh, bit of bling. That's exciting. Oh, jeepers creepers. Funnily enough, when the bling's on, it seems to make it all correct. Hey Gerald, how you doing? Good to have you in here. Sorry about the weird little effect. Da ding dang doom. It's as if for some reason. Wants to have it like that. Oh well, that's what we've got to deal with. So that's what we'll play with. Let's go. Hey Mark. Alright, so just want to leap on quickly tonight, have a quick little set, nothing too major, and splash around some paint. That's the plan anyway. So let's get started. Let's get started. All right. So I'm working with a very, very interesting bunch of paints. Yes, I am. I was feeling bad, Cheryl. I was away this weekend at a wedding, and I just got back. Well, just got back. Got back last night, late, and then I had to run around on some errands today, and I have been doing some tests on something quite new. See at this. What has he got? See, I've got something very, very interesting. Hey, Sam Josh. Cheryl, this has no odor to it whatsoever. Zero. Nothing. And what I've got is something that the old masters used to use way back in the day. It'll look like it's working exactly the same like a normal paint, but this is actually egg. This is called egg tempera. And the reason why this is fantastic, aside from the old masters using it, is that it has no smell and it shines. Absolutely shines. What an egg. Yeah. Actually, 100%. So, it's quite a funny thing, but it's literally made from eggs, which I find pretty interesting. But it lasts. You'd be like, ugh, that's not going to last. But actually, it's the only method of painting proven to last for 2,500 years. The Egyptians used it. Apparently, it's just the most perfectly pH balanced thing in a whole bunch of different ways that you're either using egg tempera or your painting doesn't survive. It never yellows. Well, it can yellow, but it's highly unlikely to. Wild. Here we go. Good morning, Johnny. How are we doing? Hey, Jew. Yeah, so since we're just playing around with the egg, I thought we'd do something a little bit recognizable, just in case the whole medium starts playing up on me. That's the plan. This is New Zealand. This is New Zealand indeed. And the goal here is just to get some of this paint on the canvas, because I've already got, you can see this background coat that I've already added, but now I want to see if more coats, how it reacts, how it all fits together, because the one interesting thing I'm doing is splicing it with guar gum. And the guar gum is having an interesting effect in editing the viscosities that the paint's currently working to. There we go. Have I ever art modeled? No. No. Nah, I'm too busy art painting. I think I'm far better painting than I'd be as a model. I reckon. Yeah. So that was one thing that really surprised me. And one of the first reasons I wrote it off, Cheryl, is that I was like, yeah, but I won't have the same pigment amount as I have with oil paints. How very, very wrong I was. Turns out it's incredibly powerful. Hey, Shawnee. Incredibly powerful. So we live and we learn. There we go. You can just see everywhere it touches, it's just immediate power onto the surface. Wow. And through here as well. Across the top. It's actually really fun to work with. Yeah. Well, the reason why I was attracted to it the most before I even learned how advantageous all its properties were going to be is that it has no chemical smell whatsoever. And that means that the entire painting itself is literally made of just pigment, egg, a little bit of guar gum, a little bit of distilled water, gesso, which gets the surface primed and ready, and the board, which in this case is masonite. Emma, well, we get that question a lot, but I think we've only been here I've skipped out all weekend, Emma, so I thought I'd just come on briefly and smash out a Statue of Liberty to play with these new paints we've got and see where that takes us. Oh my God, I'll tell you what, Cheryl, it is a massive improvement. I like to be outside every single time, but at the moment, it's been so wet and so rainy and so windy. And so to be able to come inside and paint inside without having to worry and thinking, oh God, is everything properly? Are the fumes going to be dealt with? Are they going to ruin my day? Am I going to breathe in too many? But now, it's just nothing. It's literally like being outside, that there's just, with outside it blows away straight away. But in here, there's no off gassing, which means the work's not just giving out gas as I'm standing close to it. Well, you might be disappointed because it might fall to pieces yet. We just don't know. We just don't know. And yeah, it has been. It has been. Lots of wind. Usually the rain's sometimes okay, but too much wind blows a canvas way into the distance. So have to be careful about that. But anyway, right. We'll probably have a bit more of a system with the egg tempura, but I don't know for sure. Thanks, Danielle. I don't know for sure. I'm probably going to go from dark to light, and then we'll get lost and change up the plan a little bit, but we'll start with that. Anyway, here we go. Bright pink. Technically, it's a Oprah Rose. Opera Rose? Opera Rose. And now this is a bunch of tempura I prepared earlier. So this is a whole bunch of it, spliced with water already. And you see what's interesting about it is it goes onto the plate. If you look at that, if I can angle it, oh, it's going to run straight away. See how it's quite yellowy? But actually, once it starts being mixed in, it immediately goes the full pigment of whatever it's been combined with. Kyle J, how we doing? Of course we missed you. We were just talking about you saying, I don't know where Kyle's gone. Where could he possibly be? Here we go. Glorious pink. Let's throw this in. Beautiful. I might swap this brush though, actually. It's a little bit on the bristly side. We need softer brushes for this method. Here we go. Lies. Well, I guess you'll have to jump on the replay and double check. Where'd you go for the wedding? Great question. It was down in Wanaka. Harware. And was all the way down there. And while I was down there, they went through with it, which was fantastic. But it was one of those things where it was a lightning visit there and back. So down the morning of and back the morning after. It is Lady Liberty. It is indeed. But we'll see how we go. Because again, this is very, very new to me, this method of painting. For those who are just joining us, this is using egg yolks. So this is called egg tempera. And if you've seen the Mona Lisa, if you've seen the Last Supper, if you've seen any of those ancient master paintings, they're all made with this method. And this method involves no chemicals whatsoever. It just involves some pigment. It involves some eggs. And it involves a little bit of gum. Just a teeny tiny little bit of gum. Add some Kiwiana into it. I think the Kiwiana that's coming into it is my voice narrating what's happening. It's the inescapable Kiwiana that's somewhat making the picture special in its own way. Probably an overload of Kiwiana, to be fair. Beautiful. I think we'll grab some of that, actually. There we are. You did this at 12. That's pretty cool. Painting the Statue of Liberty at 12. Proud of you. I'm doing it at 30, so you're 18 years ahead of me. So, I can't compete with that. Here we are. But then again, his name is Think Big. Here we go. Combining that into a bit of white. And it's amazing how with something so yellow, you can come away with it with so much white. You'd think that actually every color would be the spliced version of yellow, but it's not. Actually can all jump on their own colors. Like as soon as it touches the egg, it just changes. There we go. Ooh. Probably need to lift that crown up a little bit though, because she's a little bit. There we go. Tighten the head there. Perfect. Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate you, mate. And where's the copper or green tinges? Well, this will surprise you. The big bang. This picture here is a painting. And although it may seem at times to represent reality, it's not. It's just a painting. So we don't need to make it copper for it to still be a painting. In fact, I doubt I'll add green or earthy tones to it. I'll just make the whole thing saturated in poppy. You might say, how could you? You didn't make it look real. How could you? I'd say, you don't need to. It just sounds exhausting if every time you paint something. What color is it? Copy that exactly. Otherwise, it's not good. It's always good to know what reality is, so then you can run off and do something different, but I think we can make a more meaningful picture of the Statue of Liberty by painting her in a whole bunch of different tones and not getting caught up on thinking we have to fit some mold. I mean, can you really do something creative if you've already decided that it has to fit within a certain mold? If you've got a mold that you're using, typically you're talking more about craft, which is okay. Craft's amazing, but it's less art. There we go. Lovely. Did I know there were 2 statues of liberty, Lady Liberties? No, you're teaching me. You're teaching me. Cheers, guys. It's actually coming together faster than I thought. We'll add some blues through it just to catch the hues and tones that we missed with the pinks, and then a bunch more white. See, we've started a little bit dark with a background there already, and there's lots of white highlights all through here that we just need to just keep adding in white. Luckily, we've got a massive tube of it. This pigment, this is gouache paint. So gouache is how you pronounce it. And what that is, that's exciting, Kyle. Gouache paint, gouache, is basically just guar gum and pigment, and you're supposed to mix it with water. Well, we're mixing up the game here and doing something a little bit different. Here we go. And the reason I prefer gouache over regular pigment is because it makes it much, much easier for me to mix it quickly. Whereas if I was using regular pigment, I'd get caught in this trap of having to deal with this powder every time I wanted to change colors. Let's come down here. There we go. Now we're talking, a bit more of that. Beautiful. 3 for real. You're teaching me. You're teaching me. I know about one of them. The one we're painting right now. Excuse my ignorance. If you had asked me prior to this live how many Statue of Liberties there were in the world, I would have told you 1. But I'm learning. Obviously, that seems like it is not actually the case. Beautiful. Jeepers, we're up to 4 now, are we? You sure you're not just getting wildly excited and just throwing out numbers now? Cool thing about this paint too is if you ever get it on yourself, you can just wash it off. It's not like the other paints. This stuff literally is just egg. So you put it through the wash, gone, fixed. The pigment may leave a little stain, true, a little stain, but it's not like oil paints, which will just wreck your clothes. Can you eat paint? No, you can't. Just because it is egg doesn't mean the pigment's not toxic. The egg acts as a binder. It's an amazing binder, does a fantastic job, lasts for thousands of years, as proven by the Mona Lisa. I mean, the fact that the greatest painting in the world is made with egg tempera shows you that it's a way of painting to be reckoned with. But in terms of eating it, any raw pigment is always going to be a little bit dangerous to consume. Charlie, it's a very lovely thing for you to say, and I really appreciate it. But this is an art channel. So watch as we slowly make the Mona Lisa flex instead. Here we go. Put it through here. This is the neck now. Let's get a couple of strokes there. And we're going to come right up here. Across the head. Perfect. And across the top. That's now what we need. There's no paint water in the studio. We just use the paint straight from the tube. But if it was in the studio, I'd put it as a high likelihood that I probably would. It seems like something I would do, to be honest. Drink the paint water. Accidentally, but it seems like something I'd do. Maybe I'm being hard on myself. But did someone commission this? No. No, this is me leaping on, spending some time with you after disappearing for 72 hours to go to a wedding down south. And since we're inside, I've been developing this method for a while, but it really locked itself in over the weekend. And now here we are, experimenting with it. This is egg tempura. And I think I'm in love. Silly question. Let me check it. Yes, indeed. It is an expensive way to paint, but the perk behind it, Jacinda, is that I don't actually only get the eggs out of it. I keep the egg whites and the part of the egg yolk that was around the outside. I only want the pure yolk in the middle. So all of that gets saved. And I have a protein shake, which sort of just tastes like eggnog. But I have that. And then, yeah, that's it. So I get food out of it. It feels way more natural and primal to be painting with the other half of something that I actually ate. That's wild. That's really wild. Do I accept Bitcoin? Yep. I take payment in Bitcoin. Absolutely. And Ethereum. Dogecoin. But I'm not selling anything right now. So, unless you're on the website, in which case I'm sorry. The website currently does not. But if you wanted to pay in Dogecoin on the website, then I will get my tech team to figure out how to make that happen. Because that is something that I think is hilarious and I'd like to support. Whatever he's on tonight, that's the thing. I'm on absolutely zero. And the reason I'm on absolutely zero is because there's zero fumes in the studio right now. There is literally just the equivalent of an omelette. And it is phenomenal. I can't believe after studying art history for a couple of years, it didn't even occur to me that all the greatest paintings were made with egg tempura. They're still lasting. They're not yellowing. It never even occurred to me when I was trying to get all the chemicals out of my studio that I should actually give that a go. So, silly me. But this sort of a painting, like this will survive for 2,000 years, just like this. It will not change. It'll hold its colour better than most oil paints will. It won't yellow. Unlike a lot of oils and acrylics, it'll just keep lasting and lasting and lasting. Hello, Ryan. How we doing, buddy? Good to have you in here. Ryan, we're painting with eggs today. Surprise, surprise. Ryan's like, I must have heard that wrong. You didn't, Ryan. We are literally painting with eggs. So this is the egg yolk combined into paint. And that's what we're looking at. As wild as that is. Indeed eggs, yes. So Ryan, it's not actually that peculiar. It's not weird. It is weird, but it is how the Last Supper painting is made. It's how the greatest painting in the world, Mona Lisa, is made. It's called egg tempura. Tempura. Here's my little jar of it. I brewed some up earlier. That's a great question, Cheryl. And the answer is no. You don't see all these paintings because the surface has this beautiful luster and sheen to it. Any varnish you put on it actually makes it worse. And so people who still do this technique, and the ancient masters who used to do it, don't seal it. Now, one thing we can do today to actually look after it in 2023 is I can get a UV glass over the top of it, and the UV glass will stop the sun, if you put it directly in direct sunlight, over the course of years and years and years, gently breaking it down just a little bit. So I'll put a glass sheet over the top of these finished works. But apart from that, nah, nothing. Kudzo, indeed. Indeed. Honestly, again, I'm kicking myself because the reason why a lot of people don't use this as opposed to oils is the dry times. They dry incredibly fast. Everything we've added has now dried. Now, I have been adding fast drying mediums to the oils to make them dry faster. Well, why wasn't I using the chemical-free alternative to actually get into the studio, make art, and have it dry right in front of my eyes without anything like liquid or any of these chemical wild cards that I was using? Idiot. Anyway, we live and we learn, guys. There we go. Well, yeah. I do need to get a big expensive piece of glass, Cheryl, to look after the work that does get made. But on the whole, it's really not that big of a deal. I mean, varnish is another thing that's really toxic. So it's nice to get away from it. It's nice to get away from all these toxic chemicals. You finish a set sometimes and you're sitting there going, whoo-wee, should have cracked more windows open. And you can't do that for 40 years, guys. You'll ruin your brain. You need to be able to paint non-stop for hours and hours and hours and not feel an effect in your frontal lobe. So that's typically why you'll find that I spend most of my time painting outside. But now that I've got this method, we can now come back into the studio and paint to our little heart's content. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Total sense in hindsight, Cheryl. That's what I'll say. Oh dear. But I'll tell you one thing it does do. It dries with the most unbelievably beautiful coat. There is nothing I've ever combined into acrylics or into oils that have ever dried as beautiful as this. This is on another level. I keep thinking it's wet and try sort of like I do with oils sometimes. I keep thinking it's wet, and so you don't touch it. And then when I reach for to touch it, it actually is dry. It just has the most incredible sheen on it. So usually, paint fumes fueled Seb in 20 years. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And when you talk about starving artists and whatnot, you start off with the best of intentions sometimes, and then as you go through your painting journey, you're smelling so many fumes, spray cans, especially guys who work with spray cans, to the point where you're a different person by the end of the journey. And that's something that we need to move away from as artists. So unfortunately, I can't get egg tempura, bottle it, and sell it because you can only use it on the day you make it. This only lasts for a day. So, can you see it close up? It looks fairly similar to what you're seeing at the moment, Cheryl, but I will. Oh, you're right, but you mean the shine? Yeah, I gotcha. So, let's have a little look-see here at some stuff that's dried. So this stuff here, this is it dry, and you can see you don't get that yellowy color in there. It just stays in full saturation all the time. Here's a great example. If that was acrylic, that would be darkening right now and going more tacky. But then with the egg tempera, it does not. Keeps that pop. Crazy stuff. Huge fan. And then if you do see it in person, all the lights on it just shines the whole time. Just has this glow to it. And weirdly enough, the whole place doesn't smell like omelets as much as it should. So that's I don't know whether that's a plus or a minus. Probably like to smell omelets. Put that one down. So you see, so the yellow in the egg yolk, as soon as it's combined with pigment, basically immediately disappears. We're now using yellow paint, so that'll show up, but prior to this, it does not appear. There we go. And you can put coat after coat on, layer after layer. You can see through all the layers, which I love. There we go. Glass cleaner to paint damage on parts, still not answered. I don't understand a word you're saying, but I'm excited you're saying it. But something about glass cleaner? Glass cleaner shouldn't be in the picture. Damage to paints? Not yet. I've done my best. Why is it called tempera? That's a great question. Tempera means to mix, I think. So when we say egg tempura, we mean to mix eggs with the paint. Is my understanding of it, but it could be wrong. Don't quote me on it, Jacinda. There we go. No, I'm still not following the Big Bang. Is it a statement or a question? It ends in a full stop, not a question mark. So I assume it's a statement, but I'm not quite sure what you mean by stains. Stains will stain things, though. That is correct. If you get a stain on something, it's now defined as stained. And if you can avoid staining something, unless it's intentional, you'll be better for it. There we go. It's a fact. Oh, good. All right. Well, thanks for sharing. I appreciate it. Here we go. So now we're just getting a little bit more frisky with this color palette. At the moment, it's just been those lovely blues, pinks, purples. And now we're coming in there with yellow, which is going to add a bit more life to the character, which I kind of like. I kind of like it. Old pigment paints get ruined by glass cleaners. Yeah, I wouldn't put glass cleaner on anything old or on anything new. Glass cleaner is a chemical, and even if you've got a lovely coat of varnish, it will ruin whatever you're doing. Because glass cleaner is for glass, not for paintings. But there are amazing ways to clean almost any kind of painting. The hardest being the paintings that you can reactivate. Things like gouache. Things that you can mix in colour to or water to and turn them back on. Then you can get yourself in a bit of trouble. Hey Jay Smith, how are we doing? Good to have you here. It's been one hot minute, but it's great to have you back. Well, it was me who ran away. That's good. That's good. We'll jump on this slightly larger plate. The coolest thing about this paint too is you never have to worry about using a whole bunch of plates and brushes. And the reason you don't have to worry is to clean up. Literally takes seconds. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. well, not seconds, minutes. But with oil paints, I'm cleaning up and cleaning up. You know, after you come off the live, I might be cleaning up for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. So it's nice to be able to actually come off the live and immediately go into pack up mode and actually pack up. Pretty cool. And these gouache ones, no scent whatsoever. Maybe a little bit of a gum smell to them, but that'd be it. It'd be incredibly mild. Don't want that one. And this one. Cheers, Joseph. Love the picture, by the way, Joseph. Great moustache. All right. Into vermilion. That's the next color off the ranks. And let's see where we want to add this in. Use this to... There we go. Beautiful. All right. And then, where are we going to go next? Let's bring this way just a little bit. It kind of looks like she's got a iPad on a selfie stick out here, but that's the reality of the situation. There's a sort of a building there, but the lights on it are just a little bit funny, so they're going to continue to appear funny like that. All right, here's a fun fact. It's another fact about glass cleaner, or it's the same fact in different words. But, it's good to have it again. There we go. I'm going to chuck this in here. So we've seen those pinks falling back a little bit, but still acting as a underlying fundamental in the picture, which I like. Vermilion. Yeah. So one thing you'll know about colors more than you think is that the Pokemon cities, Palette Town, palette, like the paint palette, and then you go to Cerulean City, Fuchsia City, Viridian City, it's all paint colors. And so you start in Palette Town, and then you go around all the paints. Who knew that? But it's not Vermilion City, I don't think. It's Viridian, which is a different color again. But Vermilion's an amazing color. It's a warm orangey red. I reckon there must be at least one person who didn't know that that's how the Pokemon worked. Off to bed. We'll catch you later, Cheryl. Thanks for coming on in. And as per usual, it's a pleasure to see you. Absolute pleasure to see you. Sorry for disappearing for so long. What's the nurse's town from Pokemon? All right. I'm not a Pokemon trivia master. I just know about the little example with the colors. Yeah. Glory. Lead time on commissioned work. At the moment, it's looking like it's about 25 days. Just because we've got a couple lined up at the moment for this month. And once they're completed, we'll be good to go on the next one. But it's going to be about 25 days. We've got 10 to 14 days to the next one coming up, which I'm hoping we're going to start tomorrow, weather permitting. And then we've got 10 to 14 days for the next one, and then whatever's left for the final one, taking us through the majority of this month. But it can vary. Sometimes, it's back in March, April area. The lead time was about a month or two. It was crazy. Hello, Fred. Here we go. Skip around here. this color now. Bear with me too, guys. It is late here, so it just ticked over. So it's literally 12 at midnight at the moment. So we're not going past this painting. We're finishing this one, and then we're moving on to Le Bedroom, where I'm going to get a great night's sleep, thinking about how fun it was painting and staying completely sane without any chemicals. Huge fan. It's 4 a.m. in Arizona. Kyle, you absolute wildcat. It is phenomenal to have you here, Kyle. Hanging out at 4 a.m. here in New Zealand with me. I can hardly complain if it's that late. You're making me feel soft, Kyle. You love the colors? Yeah. See, this is the reason why we want to use these wild array of colors, because it allows us to see the Statue of Liberty in a slightly different light. Think about it differently, and rather than just seeing the same image that we've seen a million times, we might come to understand it in a new light. Maybe. Or you'll just see the same old statue. You never know. But by using different colors, we at least give ourselves the opportunity to. Oh, Kyle, did I wake you up, mate? I'm sorry. There we go. That's in there. That's along there. It's a bit there. Cascading down. Lovely. Ah, yeah. Sympathize. Now that I'm in my 30s, start to notice that's a thing. There we go. How are we doing? A little more over here. I mean, possibly. Possibly. New Zealand becomes a republic, eh? Fair enough. There we go. I haven't really got an opinion on that. There we are. These little dark spots catching up all these little areas. Before we're done with this, I am going to grab white and really mix it in there and attack it. Have some real fun. There we go. Yeah, the joints are packing up in the 30s, but you're having a lot of fun. Honestly, I reckon I suit my 30s more than I suited my 20s. I think that's a fact. So, I think everyone's different. I think some people love their 20s, some people love their 40s, 50s. Sir Ian McKellen, he's killing it into his 70s or whatever he is now. Hey, Jules, how you doing? I am actually, there's a tiny little reference picture, so I remember what she looks like. That's important. So the reference picture is just up here. So it's a little 2-inch by 3-inch image. You don't need a lot. It just reminds me where everything is, you know, what direction her hand's facing, how many spikes on her head, all those basics. And then from there, we're just painting it. I've never done the Statue of Liberty before, but that's okay. I won't typically do a subject more than once. Sometimes, if I think there's more to capture in it, but usually, it's fun to just do it the once and see what your impression of it was, Sometimes with a portrait though, there's so much to see in a single person that I have done the same portrait 4 or 5 times. Only because each time I did it, each subsequent time, somehow there were more things in each one, more colours, more moments that I hadn't captured in the first one, or the second, or the third. And I could just enjoy all the unique things that was making those paintings, what they were. Yeah. So I got a little miniature picture helping me out, which I think is pretty fun. It's nothing too crazy, but just enough for me to actually reference to sort of understand the folds of a fabric, her posture, and things like that. If I lived in New York, maybe it'd be different. You should see it every day. Do I teach painting? Well, right here, Glory. You can join in right here for free, and I'll tell you some of the little bits and bobs that make these paintings come together. All right, pow. I think we'll go a bit more of this. Get really, really white. There we go. And then we're just going to add a bit more of this in. Just a couple of extra streaks to finish off with. You Kiwi? Yes, I am. We got a couple of Kiwis here in the room. Even though it's late. Wild. What are all these Kiwis doing up? That's the question. I might actually grab this plate back a little bit more. There we go. Lovely. A little bit over the top there. And around to there. On the spike. Ooh, there we go. A couple of highlights there. Just a few. Nothing too major. Do you ever add something? Oh yeah, absolutely. But I think you need to take that risk every time you paint. If you ever start a painting and be like, I'm never going to add a stroke where I'm not going to ruin it, every stroke you make with its inability to take that risk will be ruining it. Every stroke needs to potentially ruin the painting in order for it to potentially make the painting. And for me I had to get my head around that from a young age. Once I did, I say young age, my 20s. Once I did get my head around that, it completely changed my style. I realized, okay, I'm willing to risk this work at any given moment to see what it can become. And I think that's pretty cool. There we go. Perfecto. And there's our Statue of Liberty. You know what this painting needs? Tell me, Kyle, what does this painting need? Thanks, Jules. Up past midnight. Oh, thanks, Jacinda. Well, I'm going to let everyone in New Zealand go to sleep. And if you're in America, then I'll let you get some sleep too. But I just want to jump on here, spend some time with you guys, only because I disappeared for so long. Down at a wedding, I wanted to show you this new technique that I'm really excited about. I have to come on. Yeah, there'll be a bit of that, Jacinda. I had to come on and use up half of this because this next half needs to get used tomorrow. So if the weather's okay, we'll be outside painting with acrylics and oils. And if it's pretty rough, I'll come back inside, use up the rest of that, and we'll keep playing. But pleasure to hang out with you all. Hope you all are doing fantastically wherever you are in the world. And I will see you all tomorrow. Cheers, guys. Sending love from the New Zealand studio. All the best. Oh, sorry, Jacinta. I missed the tea, but now I see it. I won't forget. I won't forget. Catch you guys. Bye for now.